How are you doing, Bruins fans? Welcome into another episode of the UCLA Insider Podcast on Sports Illustrated. I'm your host, Tom Cavanaugh, and today, for this specific episode, we got two pods coming out today, but this one focusing on the UCLA Bruins hoops team getting a big 40-point dominant win over Lehigh at home on a Friday night. It was a great game all around for the Bruins. They're continuing to improve on several errors that they had in their upset loss a week ago last Friday to New Mexico on a neutral site. Had four guys in double figures scoring. Best game of the night was from Eric Daly Jr. Adai Mara, he played well. He had his best game as a Bruin this season, and the turnover issue continues to reduce and become less of a factor. Now, I know they played a team in Lehigh that had struggled to this point in the year. We're 0-2 coming in, and the Bruins took care of business once again. They handled Boston University by 31 points earlier this week on a Monday and did the same darn thing to the Hawks tonight. When you look up and down the scorecard, I mentioned Eric Daly Jr. He had 17 points and 10 rebounds, his first double-double as a Bruin since transferring last season from Oklahoma State. Tyler Bilodeau doing Tyler Bilodeau things, 15 points. He only had 5 rebounds and 1 assist as well. But, I mean, he shot the ball a ton better. He was 3 of 8 last game shooting the ball. He was 5 of 7 tonight. 1 of 2 from three-point range. We'll get into the threes a little bit later, something that the Bruins did not do much of in the ball game. Sebastian Mack had a great game. He had 10 points, his second straight with double figures. And then Adai Mara, as I mentioned, he had 16 points. Great night for Adai. He was 2 of 4 from the free throw line, 7 of 8. A lot of his shots came from around the basket. He also had 6 rebounds to go along with 16 points. So those 4 guys played incredible. Lazar Stefanovic, he was coming off a 13-point game, only had 2 points. Kobe Johnson, he chipped in more on the rebounds and assists. He had 8 boards for Apples, and then only 4 points for Johnson in 34 total minutes of play. Trent Perry, the freshman, he had 5 points, played a considerable time, actually. So it's great to see Trent getting in early on, getting that experience against lesser opponents. So when they get to Big Ten play in a couple of games, he's going to be ready to go. Sky Clark, 9 points. He's that junior transfer guard coming out of Louisville, also played over at Illinois his freshman season. When you look at the rest of the stats, William Kyle III had 4 points. Dominic Harris chipped in with 3 as well. And the scoring was pretty distributed, something that the Bruins did not do against New Mexico. It was really Tyler Bilodeau with 23 points, and nobody else did much of anything. So great to see this team continuing to facilitate the basketball and putting the ball in the rim. When you look at the shooting percentages, 55% from the field for UCLA. They took 56 shots, nailed 31 of them. And then when you look at the three-point numbers, only 13 threes taken. That number continues to reduce from their first game where they were shooting upwards of 20. They only hit 3 of the 13, so a poor shooting day from beyond the arc. But when you're playing a team in Lehigh that kind of like what they were doing against Boston, much more physical, much bigger when it comes to just pound-for-pound guys on the floor, they were looking inside. AKA, you look at Adai Mara, 16 points, 7 of 8 shooting. I mean, he's getting those buckets in and around the rim. So they utilized that aspect of the game, took advantage of it, and just kind of stayed away from three-point range, which I think is probably smart in a game like this. You know, you expose one team, your opponent, and try to score in the best way possible. Bruins went on a 19-0 run towards the end of the first half. Lehigh, early in the second, cut it to 17, and then the Bruins went on another heck of a run, not allowing the Hawks to score in the final 2.5 minutes of the game, which led to a 40-point win. And out of all 3 wins of the season, Bruins are now 3-1. All 3 of those victories have come by 30 or more points. So when they're playing the teams they're better than, they're handling business, and they're doing it at a large clip, winning by upwards of 30 points. So good stuff from the Bruins. They're going to be taking on Idaho State next week. It's going to be on a Wednesday, and then just 2 more games in non-conference play before the Bruins head over and take on Washington. That's a home game, and then they'll go on the road to play Oregon, and the rest of the Big Ten ensues. A couple big games down the stretch when you're looking at the middle of this schedule at the end of December. They got number 10 UNC, North Carolina, always a really great program, and then number 4 Gonzaga. Those are 2 non-conference games kind of sandwiched in near the holidays, but I mean, my goodness, those are going to be blockbuster ball games for head coach Mick Cronin, taking on 2 top programs in the country. And if the Bruins are able to kind of handle business against Washington, Oregon, get out to a 2-0 start in the Big Ten, and then win one of those games, they also play Arizona, who's ranked 9th. That'll be another big game for them, non-conference as well. You look at those 3, you win against Arizona, North Carolina, or Gonzaga, or even take 2 of them, this team will definitely be ranked once again. Started the season at 22 overall in the national poll. They fell out of that after their 72-64 loss to New Mexico, and they're continuing to get better. That's the one thing you can look at this Bruins team, and I know they're playing teams that they're better than, but 8 turnovers, that's huge. That's the one thing that this Bruins team was really, really struggling with over the course of their first several games. You look back to the New Mexico game, 21 turnovers. Boston, they only had 15, and that number continues to drop. They bring it down 7 more, just 8 giveaways in the ball game. So they're doing everything accordingly, playing good basketball, distributing across the floor, and we're seeing different guys emerge. After that New Mexico loss, you could sit there and look and go, hey, Tyler Bilodeau is going to be a great player. He's a great scorer. He's going to go for anywhere from 15 to 20 points per night, averaging around that total currently. But it's all about the other guys. And Stefanovic, he had a great game back on Monday. He only had 2 points, and we talked about this with Bilodeau because he didn't have a great game against Boston. Other guys picked him up. Same thing happened tonight with Daly going double figures, Sebastian Mack another double-digit game, Adai Mara in the paint. He is going to be at 7'3", a center. He's going to be a big piece of that offense, especially come Big Ten play when he's able to, in his second year with the Bruins, really establish himself and battle against the Big Ten, which is predominantly known for having great paint play and physical bigs. The offensive rebounding was also pretty solid, 11 offensive boards for the team. Leader was Adai Mara, as he also had, 6 rebounds, 3 of those, as I mentioned just a moment ago, offensively. And second chance points, 19 of them. A little bit lower than I would have expected against the Lehigh team that they're much bigger than. But still, when you get those second chances, I should say, they were able to put them in and capitalize. Huge win for the Bruins. They move on to 3-1 on the year, taking down Lehigh, really handling business. And then they're going to play Idaho State at home at Pauley Pavilion on Wednesday night at 11 o'clock Eastern. That'll be 8 p.m. Pacific time. This has been the UCLA Bruins Insider Podcast, recapping the Bruins' big win, 85-45 over Lehigh at home on Friday night. You can follow myself, Tom Cavanaugh, at TCAV30 on Twitter, and head over to our insider sites on both Facebook and Twitter/X at UCLA Insider on SI, or just type in your search bar, UCLA Bruins on SI, and you'll find all of our stories coming out the rest of the weekend recapping this big win. Thanks so much, everybody. We will see you again tomorrow on the UCLA Bruins Insider Pod.